Hey guys, today I just want to talk to you a little bit about astrology. This class is astronomy class, and usually when we're face to face, the first day of school, I always have one or two kids come up and they're like, "Hey, is this astrology class?" And I just kind of put my head down and I just shake it and I say, "Come on in. I guess it's astrology class today." I just want to talk about the differences between astrology and astronomy. I'm not going to spend much time with astrology. We're going to spend today, Thursday, and then tomorrow, Friday, talking about astrology. And then next week, we're going to get into the history of astronomy. But for our purposes, astronomy really started off as astrology. So astrology has been around a really, really, really long time. You've probably seen lots of movies where you see these astrologer priests and they have these really long beards and they're always looking to the sky. They're making sacrifices. They're really, really important people. And the reason they're really, really important is because they've actually gotten to study the stars. And the reason they study the stars is because they look for the stars for cycles, for repeating patterns. That was really, really important a long time ago, knowing how to read the stars. And so astrology was actually started back in Mesopotamia, back in 2300 BC, so a really, really long time ago. So astrology tries to answer questions like, are we part of the stars? And do the stars really affect who we are as people? So hopefully you've heard of a horoscope, which is a map of the sky from the day you're born. And basically, there's zodiac signs, and now there are currently 12 zodiac signs. There used to be 13. But based upon your zodiac sign, it's supposed to tell you what kind of person you are and how you're going to be. So we're going to talk about whether or not that's true over the next day or two with that belief system of astrology. So it's been around since before recorded history. We just said that back 2300 BC. So our original astrologers were priests and scholars. So they were really, really important people. Not anyone could be an astrologer. You had to have money, you had to have wealth, you had to be able to have time to actually go out and study the stars and the planets and the sun and the moon. And you probably heard of these astronomers before. So even, according to history, you have the three wise men. They were actually considered to be astrologers too. They followed the Star of Bethlehem and they went and they found dear old 8-pound, 6-ounce baby Jesus sitting in a manger, right? According to the Bible, that's the way that went. So since they were following the sky, they would be astrologers. And, maybe they were following the planet Jupiter. That's one of the things that could have been in the sky at that time. Don't know. I wasn't there. Modern astrology now includes new planets that we've discovered like Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto. So those weren't around during when astrology was first discovered because you could not see them. They're so far away. You have to have a telescope to see them. So true astrology is about the interactions of planets and signs. So for instance, I'm a Virgo, for instance. So what that means, a lot of people get this, there's a misconception about astrology and zodiac signs. So a lot of people think that your zodiac sign, so for instance, mine is a Virgo, that does not mean that on the day you were born, if you were to go outside that night, you would see Virgo in the sky. That is not what that means. Virgo is not in the sky if you are a Virgo on the day you were born. Virgo is actually behind the sun. So zodiac constellations deal with where the sun is in the sky and where those constellations are. So basically, it deals with gravity. So the sun is the biggest object in the sky. Therefore, it's going to have the greatest effect on you in your mood based on the belief system of astrology. So astrology, it's mathematically based on cycles, just repeating patterns over and over and over. It starts with Aries, which represents self, and you'll see this in your horoscope tomorrow. We're going to do an activity tomorrow where I'll post a horoscope, and you're going to use that horoscope to answer some questions about the United States presidents. And then it ends with Pisces. So it goes from Aries to Pisces, which represents mass unconsciousness. Mass unconscious. I don't really care about you knowing that Aries represents self, Pisces represents mass unconscious. I don't care about that. I just want you to understand what astrology is and how it started and why it started. So that's what we're going to be talking about over the next week. So each of the zodiac signs represents a different phase in man's evolution within the universe, going from Aries through Pisces. Just said this a minute ago, but we said the sun, since it is the biggest object, it has the most gravity, therefore it would affect you the most based upon that gravitational pull. This is important. So most people, when I ask, well, how many of you actually believe in astrology? I usually have a couple students that actually do, and maybe like your mother does or your father. So astrology is a philosophy that helps to explain life. It's not supposed to be used to predict life or outcomes. So we're gonna be seeing if that's true over the next day or two. But that's really the biggest thing with astrology. Astrology is a belief system or philosophy, and astronomy is an actual science. But for our purposes, astronomy actually started off as astrology, and we're going to talk about why all that was over the next 2 weeks. So astrology does not tie a person into a set life, nor does it predict one's entire lifespan, unless you believe that it will, because astrology is all about beliefs. It is a belief system. So it tries to explain your life energy. And a horoscope, it does that by using horoscopes, which we said are maps of the planets and the stars and the sun and the moon. So when you were born, your horoscope is related to the exact positions of those celestial bodies. And just like I said earlier, if you're a Pisces, that means that Pisces is actually out in the sky during the day. It would be behind the sun. If you are a Pisces, that does not mean that you go outside at night and see Pisces in the sky. That is not how it works. You have to wait about 6 more months before you see Pisces at night. So it deals with the sun's position relative to the position of the constellation on the night you were born, or night or day you were born. Okay, so that's our notes just real quickly on astrology. So what you're going to be doing with these notes, just the belief system of astrology. On Friday, we're going to be doing an activity using the U.S. president's birthdays with astrology. And then there's also going to be another reading that I want you to do. And then that's going to be it for astrology. After that, we're going to move right into astronomy, talking about the history of astronomy. And so we'll talk about how astronomy got its roots and how it started from the idea of astrology. So we'll talk more about this next week. But that is it for today.